Hello, and welcome to our advanced training of the Blueprint OMS system here. Today we will be covering the setup menu here, the marketing campaigns here, as well as third-party insurer billing here as well. To go ahead and get started here, we will go ahead and navigate to the setup menu here and go through all of the functions and options that you have available here. Now, when we click into the setup menu down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you will see a full list of everything that is configurable on the front end of the system here, as well as some other options that you have available here. It should be worth noting here that the view we are looking at is the view of an owner here, meaning that I will have access to everything in the system here. So it may be worth noting that if you don't have access to certain items here, it may be due to a lack of privileges that you are granted there in the system. Now, with all of that being said, we'll go ahead and start going through these items here. To start here, we're going to start in the pricing and third-party payer coverage here. It should also be worth noting here that the third-party payer coverage terminology is going to be exclusive to US clinics here. If you are in Canada, it will say pricing and insurer coverage there. But regardless, it will still function the exact same here. So if we click on the key icon here, we will be able to drop down and view the items here that we have entered into the system here. For example, we will have the batteries, accessories, and services, which will be accessible through a quick sale option there. We do also have the hearing aids, the orderable items, which are available through the order option there, and then the repair options as well when sending an item for repair. Now, it should also be worth noting here as well, you can come into these fields here and then create new options here. So for example, if we want to add in a new item to sell to the patients here, let's go ahead and go into the accessories here. We can select create new here, and maybe we are adding in a cleaning kit that we can sell to the patients here. Now, once we have this set up here, you will be able to select a specific manufacturer, a specific category as well here. And then again, you'll be able to input purchase cost here, which again would be the cost of that the clinic gets the item for, and then the selling cost that the patient would pay for this item here. Once we also have that set up here as well, you will also be able to select specific expense accounts and income accounts if you do integrate with QuickBooks. That way, again, those items will show up there as well. Now, once we have that item here, we will now be able to access it through the sale option here as well. Again, worth noting here, the batteries, accessories, and services will be accessible through the sale option here, as where the hearing aids and orderable items will be available through the order option here in the corner. Now, it should also be worth noting here that in the hearing aids tab, you can also create new ones here as well. So if there is a specific hearing aid that you are trying to sell to a patient here and are unable to find it when creating the order there, you can come back to this area here, create that new hearing aid, input all of the information here, and get that entered in. That way you can sell the patient and order that hearing aid for them. Below that here, we all are also going to have the repair types here available as well, so that when you do send an item out for repair, you will be able to select the specific type for that repair as well. Again, along with that here, you will be able to create new versions of this down below here so that you'll be able to select the correct option here. Below that here as well, we do also have these service plans that are available here. Just allows you to input specific information. So maybe you do offer specific service plans like a bronze or gold or silver, may have an in-house warranty here as well. And along with this, much like every the other items we've looked at, you can create new ones here and then put the plan length in months there. These can then again be added into the services here. That way, again, you'll be able to charge the patients for their service plan and then be able to edit the details of a hearing aid on their file in order to attach that on there as well. Now, moving along from there, we are going to head into the referrer types here. Now, when we initially click on the referrer types here, you will be able to see all of the referrer types that are listed in the system here, and we can also drop down the key option here to view these items here. Now, you will notice in here, everything that is listed under this main list here will be viewable over here on the left-hand side here as well. You will notice that there are some here that are inactive. And if you did want to see those here as well, you can uncheck this show active items only here to view those so you have a better match of that here as well. Now, the best way to kind of think about these referrer types here and referral sources along with that are going to be thinking of the referrer types as an umbrella category and everything else that falls underneath that there. So, for example, the referrer type is going to be advertising, which again would be the umbrella. If we click into advertising over here on the left hand side, we would then be able to see everything that falls under that umbrella here as well. So, for example, under the advertising referrer type, we will have the resource types billboard, coupon website, family and friends, and so on there. That way, again, when navigating the referrer types and referral sources in your system, it will give you the referrer type in front of it, followed by the actual referral source there as well. And again, along with this here, you can also come here and create brand new referrer types and referral sources underneath there as well. That way you're not limited to just what is already entered into the system there. So just something to keep in mind with that. Now, along with that, within the referrer types drop-down menu here, you will notice here that we do also have the healthcare provider types here. Very similar to the referrer types, it is going to act very similarly in the sense that you will have the different umbrella categories here of the healthcare provider type, such as audiologist, cardiologist, ENT, family physician, and so on here. Now, what we can do here is drop down this key and again be able to view everything that is in this list and be able to view it here on the left side and see everything that falls underneath it. For example, if we select general here, you will be able to see all of the healthcare providers that fall under that general healthcare provider type there. Again, very similar to how the referrer types there work, where again, you have the umbrella category that is the healthcare provider type, and then everything that falls underneath it as well here. Along with this here as well, you will see that these are all color coded here as well. These will be indicated by the healthcare provider that is listed on the patient's file here. So for example, if we pull up a test patient here real quick, we can go into their system here and we can see the healthcare providers that are listed, such as Dr. McCool and Dr. Giuseppe here. We can see based by these colors here, we have blue and red. We can indicate here that Dr. Giuseppe is an ENT, excuse me, ENT, and Dr. McCool is going to be a general based on that blue color there. So just something to keep in mind there. And again, much like the referrer types, you will also be able to come in here, create brand new healthcare provider types, as well as brand new healthcare providers. And again, by doing so, you'll be able to input all of their information here, qualifications, and then again, be able to select that specific healthcare provider type as well. Now, moving along from there, we are going to have the manufacturers list that are listed within Blueprint here. It should be worth noting here that you will have access to the major players in the manufacturers, such as Oticon, Phonak, Resound, and all of those will already be there. However, if your clinic does work with a smaller manufacturer here, you can come down here and create a new one here, input all of the manufacturer information, such as the name of the company, any sort of address, address information here, email address, fax number, telephone numbers. That way, again, you'll be able to get them added into your system and then therefore be able to add in hearing aids from that manufacturer as well. Below that here, we are going to have the third-party payers option here. As I mentioned at the beginning here, the terminology will be slightly different between US and Canadian clinics here. If you are in Canada, you will note here that instead of third-party payers, again, it will say insurers there instead. Now, much like the manufacturers here, you will be able to input specific insurers here into this list here, or third-party payers as well. So again, these will all be listed in alphabetical order here. You can come down here to create a new one here to input information regarding that third-party payer or that insurer there. So again, just something to keep in mind here. Below that here, we are going to be under the electronic billing setting here. Now, keep in mind here, this will be exclusive to the US clinics here, but essentially what this will allow you to do here is enable a clearinghouse integration so that you will be able to submit electronic submissions directly from Blueprint here. If you go ahead here and select the Enable Clearinghouse Integration here, you will be met with a notice here just saying that there will be a fee here if you get this set up here. But if we go ahead and proceed through this here, you will be able to select the clearinghouse here. And then again, you will be able to input the SFTP username and password that is provided by that clearinghouse. Let's just go ahead and say, we'll just say test here. Once that is all set here, you will be able to verify the configuration here. Obviously, if I were to select this here, it will show an error message here saying that the connection had failed. But if you do input the correct information and SFTP account information here, you will get a notice there saying that the verification was successful there. Now, below or dropping down this as well here, you will also be able to edit the HCFA fields, ICD codes, and the modifiers that go along with that. If we select the HCFA fields here, you will be able to input specific information here that will always populate based around specific information such as the third-party payer, the location, and the provider here. To give you an idea of this here, we can go ahead and select Create New here. For the field, we will just need to select this information here or the specific field that we are looking for here. Maybe again, we're going to select the billing provider address here. And for the third-party payer, we will say that this will work for all insurers and then all locations and then all providers here. Now what we can do here to have that information populate is we can just go ahead and add in a address here that will then populate every single time a HCFA form is generated here. Alrighty, once we have that set here, we can then go ahead and hit create there. So now that any time a HCFA is generated here, regardless of the third-party payer, regardless of the location, and regardless of the provider, this address will always populate in there. Below that here, we will also have ICD codes that you are able to enter into your system here. If you find that you are trying to select a specific ICD code on a patient audiogram or when generating the HCFA form but are unable to find it, you can come in here and create those directly in here so that again, you'll be able to select that when generating that HCFA form or get that added to a audio or audiogram on the patient file. Below that here as well, you will also be able to input different modifiers here as well. That way, again, you'll be able to select those when generating the HCFA form here as well. Now, moving on from there, we will be under the miscellaneous emails here. This is going to be just a place that you can store email addresses that may not necessarily be linked to a healthcare provider, but maybe someone that you are reaching out to for specific reasons here. A good example of this would be something like a manufacturer representative here, where again, you might just be able to have a specific representative at the manufacturer and would like to email the order forms directly to them. You'll be able to come under here, select Create New, and let's go ahead and say we have an Oticon rep here. And then we'll just need to input the ad or the email address here. Let's go ahead and just say rep@oticon.com. Now, whenever you are generating an order form or any specific type of form there and you go to select the email or fax option, you will note that there is an option to email other there where you will be able to view all of those options there. To show you an example here, let's go back to my test patient here and let's just go ahead and try to email this option here. You will note here that when I right click, we will be able to select the email other option here. And you will again be able to see the Oticon rep and the Phonak rep that were set up in there or set up in that specific area there. Now, moving along from there, we will also have the chat option available here as well. This will just allow you to either enable or disable the chat here, which can be found in the bottom right-hand corner here. Essentially, this will just allow you to be able to chat with other users of in your Blueprint system. Granted, they are logged in at that time. Again, it should be worth noting there is a chat privilege that is available under the user administration. So you'll just need to make sure that there is access there in order for the user to be able to use that function there. Below that here, we are going to have the care credit integration here. From here, again, this will be a US specific function here for financing here. But if you go ahead and enable this here, you will be able to get this set up here where again, excuse me, where again, you will be able to input the specific merchant number and all of the information here so that you'll be able to get that integration set up there. Essentially how that will work is you will be able to take payments directly within Blueprint, have it marked as Care Credit. It will then launch the Care Credit portal directly from Blueprint so that you will be able to input all of the information there. So again, just a nice function there. It saves you a few extra steps from having to log out of Blueprint, log back into Care Credit, and go from there. You'll be able to do everything all from Blueprint here. Below that here, we are also going to have the revenue groups here as well. Again, these will be able to be attached to specific insurers and third-party payers here. If we were to go and see where this information is stored within the third-party payers here, we can come in here and we can either right-click to edit the details of an existing insurer, or we can select the Create New option, and those revenue groups are all going to be listed right here for you to select. And again, as much like everything else here, you will be able to create new revenue groups here as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the discount reasons available here for you to input and select when giving a discount to a patient. Now, much like the other items here, you can create new ones directly from here within Blueprint. That way, when you grant a discount, you'll be able to keep better track of what discount was selected and why the reason for that was. It should also be worth noting here that the discount reason will not be able to actually do the math in regards to what the discount is here. The example I have for this here is a 10% promotion and a 25% promotion here. Again, it should be worth noting here that if you were to select these options here, you will still have to do the math to be able to figure out what is 10% of the order and what is 25% of the order. So again, just something to keep in mind there when entering these here as well. Below that here, we are going to have payment methods that you are able to input here as well. Again, this should already be loaded with the major ones here, such as American Express, cash, check, Visa, all of that information here as well. However, you can also create new options here as well. Maybe again, your clinic will offer gift certificates. And then again, this will just allow you to select a deposit account here, as well as a refund account there as well. But again, if your clinic does offer those gift certificates, you'll be able to mark that down as a payment when selecting that here. Now below that here, we are going to be under the recalls here. The information that you can change regarding the recalls here in this menu will be the recall statuses that you can mark on a patient, on a recall there, on a patient file, or in the recalls menu, as well as the recall types themselves here. Now, again, it should be worth noting here that these recall types are going to be strictly manual ones here, as you will not be able to configure the automated recalls on this end of the system. However, if you do want to have a new automated recall created, you can submit a support ticket, and essentially what we will need is going to be a name of the recall, a trigger for the recall to appear, and then a trigger for removal for the recall type here. Moving on from there, we will also have the journal entry types here. This is where you will be able to keep track and mark down specific journal entry types when creating journal entries here. Now, what this allows you to do here is when you go and create a journal entry within the patient file here, anything that is found within this menu here will allow you to select that when creating it. So for example, if you wanted to add a chart note option here, or again, maybe there's a more specific medical record that you want to make note of, you can select those options here. Along with that, you can also again create brand new journal entry types here as well for you to select to better keep track and organize those journal entries there. Now, moving along from there, we are going to have the patient types here as well. Again, these patient types are going to be found in the bottom left corner of the audiology tab on a patient file there. Essentially, what these will be here is going to be anything that is ailing the patient in relation to their hearing loss here. So, for example, you might have tinnitus on there, you might have balance issues, you might have speech pathology here. You will be able to indicate those on the patient file there. And again, much like a lot of the other items here, you can select create new here in order to add in your own information here as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the location options here as well. By selecting this option here, you will be able to see the the locations that are already entered into your system here. As you can see from my test system here, we have the Manchester and the Weatherfield location. Now, what you can do here is go ahead and hit the edit details option at the bottom here in order to gather up some information here and make any adjustments to the locations here. So for example, if we take a look at the Weatherfield location here, you will be able to see here we have all of the address information, telephone number, fax number, email address, as well as anything pertaining to the online booking there. Again, you will be able to update these addresses directly from here. And along with that, you will also be able to adjust the logos for the locations below there. Now, the nice thing about this one here is you will be able to add in location-specific logos here. So as you can see here, we have my Weatherfield Hearing Clinic logo available for the Manchester and Weatherfield. However, you can again create a new one here, upload a new logo here, and maybe we can set it for just the Manchester location here. That way, again, you'll be able to differentiate the two locations by logo if you do have separate branding for each location. Now, one more thing with this here as well, if you are looking to input a new location into your system here, we will need to have a support ticket created with some information such as the name of the location, the address, telephone number, fax number, and all of that information here as well. At which point our technicians will be able to enable that on the back end and get that put into your system there. It should be worth noting here as well, if you are located in the US, adding new locations may affect your licensing fee for Blueprint, so just something to keep in mind there as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the marketing automation here. Essentially, what this will allow you to do here is be able to enable marketing automation based around these campaigns that are already set up within your system here. So for example, we will have the birthdays here, the birthdays number one, email, and 7-day print here. If you are curious as to what that means exactly, we can hover over the information bubble here and it will tell you exactly how this information goes out here. It will go out to, an email will go out to active patients on the date of their birthday, and print letters will be generated 7 days prior to their birthday as well. Now, along with this here, you will notice that there are certain icons next to these campaigns here. This is going to indicate whether or not they are active and what is active with them. So for example, you can see the birthdays number one here. We see the letter icon there indicating that the email campaign is enabled here. Let's say we want to go ahead and enable the print option here as well. We can highlight this here, come down to edit details, and we can go ahead and activate that print campaign here as well. Now, along with this here as well, you will be able to select the email template here that you would like to have set up, as well as a print letter here as well. It should be worth noting here as well, we do have the option here to edit the email templates here, and you are also able to upload your own print templates there as well using Microsoft Word. That is something we'll cover briefly here coming up here shortly. But let's go ahead and activate that print campaign. And by doing so, we now have the printer icon to show that these are both active there. I highly recommend coming in here and taking a look at the different campaigns here and activating these here if you would like to reach out to your patients in a more passive effort here. Again, at the top here, if it is not enabled already, you will be able to select Enable Marketing Integration here, where again, it will look very similar to the edit settings here, where you will be able to click through, select the different platform or how you'd like to have this sent out here, And then again, you will also be able to select if you would like Blueprint to automatically send the emails there, or if you would like Blueprint to just gather up the list and have yourself manually send those out here. And then an unsubscribe page as well as a sending email address here as well. It should be worth noting here as well, any sort of marketing emails will be overridden in the location setup menu here. So if I go back to the locations, look at the details, you will see that the sending email address for marketing, this one will always default here depending on the location here. So just something to keep in mind there. Now, moving along from there, we are going to come under the audio meters here as well that can be put into your system here. It should be worth noting here that this is going to be purely informational here. You can create new audio meters here as well, or edit the existing ones here, which essentially at this point would be either just renaming it or adjusting the calibration date here. It should be worth noting here that if there are multiple audio meters here in your system, you can mark it as the default option here, which just essentially means that whichever location is selected there and whatever the audio meter is, when a audio report is generated within Blueprint, it will automatically pull up that information here and will also pull that calibration date from here as well. Moving on from there, we are going to have the documents option here. Underneath this tab here, we will have the option for categories here, so that when you do archive a document here, you will be able to select a specific category here. This is going to be a nice feature here, as again, it will allow you to better keep track of the forms that you are editing and uploading to the system there, or to the patient file there. Along with that here, you will be able to put in new statuses there as well in order to be able to keep tabs on exactly what the form needs, where it was sent to, and any other additional information there. And again, with both the categories and the status here, you will be able to create new options directly from here as well. Now, one more thing here as well, with the statuses here as well, you can right click on this to edit existing ones and change the color of these here as well. That way, again, just gives you another way to organize and be able to color code these specific status options here. Now, below that here, we are going to fall under the templates option here. We'll go ahead and start by looking at the forms option here. The forms here are going to be where you will be able to keep track of any audiological form, any specific manufacturer form here, patient forms, online forms, and order related forms here. Again, these will be like audio reports here, purchase agreements, again, anything that you may need to have set up in your system here in relation to forms here. You'll also be able to upload new forms directly from your computer by selecting that option there. And again, you'll be able to edit and upload all of that information as long as they are either a PDF or a Microsoft Word document. Below that here, we are going to have the correspondence here. This again is where you will be able to input any sort of patient letters and everything else here as well. It should be worth noting here that much like the forms here, you will be able to upload it as either a Microsoft Word document or a PDF here. The only exception to that rule would be, again, a marketing correspondence, like a marketing letter that you would print off, which again would need to be a Microsoft Word document. To kind of explain that a little further here, let's go ahead and drop down the sub key in here and go into the marketing tab here. Again, when we select the print option here, again, it will show you all of the patient correspondence that are specifically marked as email campaigns there. So again, just keep in mind here that when you upload the correspondence here, we will recommend uploading it as under the marketing tab if it is going to be a print letter here. And again, just keep in mind, it will need to be a Microsoft Word document. Again, you will be able to upload those directly from here as well. Same again with the correspondence list here as well. Now, below the marketing tab here, we do also have our email templates that we have available here currently. Again, these templates here are going to be able to be edited here by right-clicking on the option here and then selecting the Launch Template Editor here. Now, to save time here, I will let you know that we will not be going in depth on this function here. However, I do recommend coming up to the help drop-down menu, going under the video tutorials, where we do have our new email marketing template creator webinar now listed in there. Again, I highly recommend giving that a watch if you have not already seen it. It will give you all of the details as to how you will be able to create your own email templates using images and everything else there as well. Now, below the marketing option here, we are going to have the accounting templates here. This is where you will be able to input any sort of invoices, credit memos, and any sort of quotes as well for the patient here. Again, much like the marketing print letters here, these are going to be, again, only compatible with Microsoft Word documents here. It should also be worth noting here that these options are going to be fairly limited with how they will look here. So for example, if we right click to view the Word invoice here, you will essentially be able to see how all of this works here, where again, it will have the clinic information here, the bill to and patient information here, the description, and any sort of charges going down the right-hand side there. Again, with that also being said here, these forms are a bit rigid here with the information that can be changed on them, as again, the form is set up in a specific way to make sure that it functions well within Blueprint there. Again, if there is something that you are not a fan of or not a big uh, something you're not a big fan of there, we would recommend that you potentially upload a purchase agreement form under the forms template here, as that would allow you to be able to upload it as a PDF and also be able to make additional changes there as well. Now, at the very bottom here, we are going to have the email headers and footers here. Again, with this here, I do recommend checking out the email marketing webinar there, as again, it will go more in depth on that here as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the online forms option here. What coming in here, you will be able to either enable or disable the online forms function within Blueprint here. Just allows you to be able to send online forms out to patients directly from Blueprint so that they would be able to fill them out before coming into the clinic here. Now, just keep in mind here that this is a free function within Blueprint, so there will be no additional charge here for enabling this here. Again, you'll be able to put in a sending email address here, the expiration date, or the expiration or form expiration in days here, as well as your option to how you would like to convert quick add patients here as well. And what that essentially means that if you have a demographic intake form, you can essentially take the information that was sent to the or that the patient had sent in and be able to link it to an existing patient file, create a new patient file out of that, or again, be able to update a patient file that is already existing within Blueprint. Along with that here, you will be able to update the email templates here. So maybe you want to change what the online form request for the patient would see when they see this here. Or again, if there's an alternate contact, you'll still be able to adjust that information here. Again, that would just be coming in here, selecting the edit button, and then being able to make changes here, where again, you can also drag and drop the merge fields on the right-hand side here. We do also have the IDA Institute tools here with some templates here, or with some online form options that you are able to see here. You can select the properties here to view this, as well as deactivate this here as well. Below that, though, we are also going to have the online forms tablet here. Now, what this allows you to do here is be able to send those online forms directly to a tablet there. That way, again, you will be able to have the patient fill it out directly at the clinic there if they were unable to fill it out on their computer there. Again, what this will entail here is just creating the new tablet within the system here. Coming in here, right-clicking and selecting Edit Details, where you can copy this URL. You'll just want to paste that URL directly into the iPad browser, and then bookmark that here. And then essentially how that will work is when you send the online forms to that tablet, you will select that URL bookmark and then be able to load up the form directly from there. And again, you will be able to set these up by location here as well. That way, again, you'll be able to have multiple options there as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the text snippet categories here. Now, much like the referrer types and healthcare provider types, I again like to explain this in a similar manner here, where again it will essentially be the umbrella category that is going to be the text snippet categories, and then all of the text snippets that fall underneath that here. So much like the referrer types, you will see everything in this list here will correspond over here on the left-hand side here as well. So now, maybe for example here, we want to take a look at the follow-up options here. So when we click into the follow up here, you will now be able to see all of the text snippets that automatically fall within that specific area here. And along with that here, much like the referrer types, we can come here, select the create new option, either create a new category or create a new text snippet here. Now again, creating the category would just have it be created within this list here, be able to select it over here on the left-hand side. But if we go ahead and select a create new text snippet here, we will go ahead and be able to select which category this would like to follow under here. And then again, we can input the text snippet that we are looking to have set up here. And again, we'll keep this one simple, like need to follow up with patient. And then again, once we have that created here, when we go into the follow-up category here, we will now be able to see this specific option where again, we can select it and then edit the details to make any further changes to it as well. Now with this here, you will be able to drag and drop this when creating journal entries, but you will also be able to input an auto text here so that essentially, well, bear with me here, where you will essentially be able to input or type in the auto text here and click enter. That way, again, if instead of dragging and dropping there, you can type in the small auto text that you have set up there and then allow it to populate there as well. Moving on from there, we are going to have the scheduling option down here below. Essentially, what this will allow you to do here is under the settings, you will be able to adjust the schedule start time and end time per specific locations here. Now, again, what you'll be able to do is select the specific location, select edit here, and then you'll be able to adjust the start time and the end time of the clinic calendar there as well. Again, maybe the Weatherfield location will start closing at 5 o'clock there. We can make that adjustment. We would just need to go ahead, log out of Blueprint and log back in order to see that change take effect there. Below that here, we are going to have the event types here as well, which will essentially be anything that you would like to have marked on the calendar, whether that would be appointment types for a patient, or again, being able to create the out of town option here, or a lunch option that you can put on a provider schedule there so that you would know that the provider is unavailable at that time here. Along with that here as well, you can create new options here as well. So maybe there's an appointment type that you would like to set up. You will be able to select that here, input the name of it, a specific acronym that would be viewable from the schedule, how long the appointment would be in minutes here, and you can also set up a specific color for that appointment here as well if you would like to keep track of that. Along with that here, you will be able to select if specific resource types are required here. And again, if you do have the online forms enabled here, you will be able to select specific forms to send out to the patient when they are booked here. And also, if you do have online booking enabled here as well, you can go ahead and select that here to input some information here, such as what will it look like to the patient when they are booking online, if only new or existing patients can book there, as well as a brief description here as well. Now, below that here, we are going to have the resource types here, which essentially are going to, again, fall very similar to the text snippets and the referrer types, where the resource type is going to be the umbrella category. But if we drop down the resources, we will be able to select the specific resource as well here. For example, we will have the resource type here where we have the fitting rooms, the high pro, sound booths, and another fitting room for the Manchester location. As you can see here, the actual resources will fall over here on the left-hand side with fitting room 1, 2, 3, the high pro, and the 2 sound booths, and the test room that we currently have available. Now, again, if a specific appointment type requires one of these options here, you will need to select that specific option or one of those specific options when booking it. Otherwise, again, it will not allow you to select that. And again, you will also be able to select here if double booking is allowed there. So maybe one fitting room might be able to accommodate multiple patients. You'll be able to select that there so that you will be able to have that option here. Below that here as well, we are going to have the online booking tool here. Now, the online booking is going to be available with your Blueprint subscription. Again, no additional charges from Blueprint here. You will just have to come in here and get this set up here. Now, again, with this here, because of the amount of information here that goes with this, I won't be able to cover this in depth here. Again, I will again recommend going up to the help drop-down menu, selecting the video tutorials, and seeing our online booking webinar there, as it will give you information on how to set this up here. Now, below that here, we are going to have the user administration here. What this will allow you to do here is be able to select specific roles here that you can adjust here for that can be attached to specific users in the system here. Again, if you notice here, you will be able to create new roles here directly within Blueprint, where again, you might be able to add in like a receptionist option or a front desk or an audiologist, administration, all of that information here. Along with these roles here, you can highlight the specific role here, come down here, edit the privileges and the reports that those specific roles would have access to here. So again, for example, with the front desk, you will be able to see that this role has very limited options here that they are able to select here in regards to their privileges. And then again, with the reports here, maybe the front desk staff has no need to have any specific reports here, but you will be able to select them if need be. Maybe just for the front desk, we would like them to have access to the appointment analysis and the daily schedule reports there. So that way anyone with that role will be able to select those options there. Moving on from there, we will have the users option here at the bottom here. Now, this is where you will be able to keep track of all of the users that are listed within the system here and be able to make changes to their specific files here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our test user, Gary Burke here. If we go ahead and right click on them, you will notice we have the option to edit details, change their password, edit the privileges, reports, scheduling location, tax numbers, and license numbers here. Going through this very briefly here, if we select the edit details option here, you will be able to see the username that you can adjust here, the patient's first and last name, any of their job titles and information here, and again, any specific roles that are linked to that provider or that user here. Again, for our test user, Gary here, we do have them marked as the front desk role here. But again, we can come in here and select specific roles here that we can also add on there so that, again, they aren't stuck with one specific role here. A good example of this here would be our user Linda Baldwin here, who has the audiologist dispenser and specialist role there as well. So you can attach multiple roles to one user there as well. Along with that here, you will be able to right click and edit the privileges and reports that are assigned to a specific user outside of their specific role here. So for example, here with Gary, we can see that they are the front desk role here. So you will be able to see all of the privileges that are associated with that. But again, you will also be able to grant specific privileges that are outside of that role in case a specific user might have a little bit more responsibility than what their role entails there. So just something to keep in mind that you can edit here. And that exact option here will go with the reports here as well. As you can see with Gary here, he has access to the front desk role reports here, which were the appointment analysis, daily schedule, but they also have access to the KPI and the referral source appointments there. Now, again, along with that, below that, you will be also able to edit the scheduling and locations here, where you can select which users are able to access which locations there. So again, Gary will only be able to access the Weatherfield location to be able to view their schedule and then view their patients as well here. Now, below that here as well, you are also able to edit tax numbers and license numbers for specific providers there as well. Again, that would just be right-clicking on it, selecting here where you can update the tax numbers based on specific location, and then the license number will be very similar where you can adjust those based on the specific locations. Now, lastly here, we will be under the security option here, which will be reserved for the owners of systems here. Essentially, what this will allow you to do is set password requirements as well as alert the owners after a set number of specific failed login attempts here as well. And then along with that, you can also set a log off after a certain set number of minutes of inactivity within Blueprint there, just so that, again, if a user is not at their computer there for an hour or however long, it would automatically log them out for security purposes. So just something to keep in mind there. Now, moving on from here, we are going to jump into the marketing feature within Blueprint here. That will be this icon over here on the left-hand side, the little orange circle with the Wi-Fi symbol there. When we click into this here, we will now be able to create our own marketing campaigns here as well. Again, this will be a little different from the automated marketing here, as this will allow you to input your own parameter set that you would like to have set up to gather a list of patients here. So what we can do here, maybe we want to set up an email campaign here for tested, not sold options here. So what we can do here is we can come in here, select create new. We can do tested, not sold, and we'll go ahead and select email only here. When we select create new here now, we will now see this particular option listed right here. Now, when we double click into this here, you will be able to see the parameters that we are setting up here. At the very top, you will be able to see the primary filter here, which you can adjust here. It will always default to the all active patients here, but you will be able to see options here such as appointments, where maybe you want to filter by specific appointment types, as well appointment dates there, birthday cards here if you wanted to find specific patients, or again, specific journal entries. But for this one here, we're going to go with the tested, not sold here. Now, what we are able to do here is set up specific test dates here, where again, we are able to input the dates between that and then exclude hearing aids purchased after a specific date here as well. So for example here, maybe we want to look at all patients within the last 3 years here. What we would do in this case here is enter in the dates. Now, the date formatting is going to be a little weird here, but it is based on the computing language that is set up within Blueprint here. So we are going to go ahead and enter the year, the month, and then the day. And we'll just go ahead and run that from the beginning of 2020 to today here. So again, what we have here is going to be September or January 1st, 2020 to December 21st, 2023 here. And we'll go ahead and exclude hearing aids purchase after the initial day here, as we are looking for patients that have not bought here. Now, because we marked this as an email or email campaign, it is automatically going to add in this patient attribute that is okay to email equal to yes here. Under the patient attributes here as well, you can also include other information here. The patient attributes is going to be very specific to the patient information here, such as like age, telephone numbers, and all of that information here as well. As we're below that here, we are going to have the additional filters options here. The additional filters option will cast a wider net based around specific information here, where again, you can select specific third-party payers or insurers there, be able to select a specific hearing aid manufacturer here, again, a specific appointment dates and all of that information here as well. Now, again, if we wanted to go ahead and run this particular campaign here, we will see that we have had 2 patients within that time that were tested but not sold hearing aids here. At which point here, you will be able to select the send email option directly from here, where you will be able to select any one of those email templates that you had set up here. If this were a print campaign, you can select the print option here and then be able to select a specific template that you would like to have set up there as well. Along with that here, you will also be able to download this patient list to an Excel spreadsheet. If you go ahead and select the full option, it will give you all of the patient information from their file here. But if you select the short option, it will just limit the information that is included there. Along with that here, we do have the option to add and remove manually here, where again, we can select and see which location each patient is set up here. And then you would be able to manually add or remove patients from that campaign there as well. This is now going to be a function here that I highly recommend that you come in here and play around with a little bit here, as again, it is a good function here to be able to create those lists and generate those lists of patients there so that you can better market out to them. Now, moving along here, we are going to be jumping into the final portion of our training here, which is going to be insurer billing. Now, I'm going to go ahead, go into the patient browser, and let's go ahead and pull up our patient and insurer billing here. Now, with this patient here, what we are able to do here is go ahead and add in a third-party payer or an insurer here so that we can show how you are able to generate a HCFA form here and be able to view all of the payments and everything relating to the third-party billing here. So for starters here, we will come under the third-party payers or insurers tab here, and we will go ahead and add in the patient here or the insurer here. What we will need to do here is select the relationship here. If we were to select self here, you will notice that it will automatically fill in with all of the patient information here. But again, if they are a spouse here as well, you can again fill in that information here as well. But to keep this simple, we'll go ahead and select the self here. We'll go ahead and select the third party payer here, and then we will input the ID number for their insurer here. It should be worth noting here that it is not required to have a policy number, employer, school name, or any of that information here, but you are able to input that here just so that you are able to keep track of it here. And again, the same will go with the pre-certified hearing aid benefit, the estimated benefit, deductible, and copay. This is again not anything that Blueprint will be able to pull from or be able to populate on anywhere, rather just a place for you to keep track of that information if you would like to. Now that we have the insurer on file here, we can now go ahead and create an invoice here, and we can go ahead and allocate those costs here to that insurer. So let's go ahead and just keep this simple here. We'll go ahead and create a brand new sale here, and let's just go ahead and charge the patient for a balance testing here. Now we'll double click and add that here. Again, you can select other batteries and accessories here as well. And again, it should be worth noting that if there is specific insurer or third party specific pricing here, you will be able to see those noted there as well with this. And again, that is something that can be configured in the third pricing and third party payer coverage as well. Now, when we select next here, you will now be able to see the specific information here relating to this. Again, you'll be able to adjust the price here, add in any specific discounts here, adjust the tax here. We'll go ahead and say this one is tax exempt here to keep this as simple as possible here. Again, we have a provider listed on the invoice, which is also great because we will need that in order to generate the HCFA form here. Now, below that here, you will see we have the cost allocation here, where again, we can adjust the amount that is going to be allocated to either the insurer or again, to the patient here. Now, what you are able to do here is click into this here, and you will be able to decide that if you want to allocate all of the costs directly to the insurer right away there, or again, maybe you want to have it set up on the patient side here first before going in and changing that at a future date there once you hear back from them. For this example here, let's just go ahead and allocate the entire cost directly to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we will go ahead and hit the complete sale option here. Now, again, we will be given the invoice same as before. And then again, what we can do here as well is now go into the patient sales history and be able to view this invoice here for both the patient and the insurer here. Now, as you can see here currently, the patient has no cost associated with them here, but all of this is going to be listed under the third party total here, just again, meaning that it is currently all allocated there. But now that we have all of that set up here, we can go ahead and generate the HCFA 1500 form here. Again, should be worth noting here that this will be specific to US clinics, but what you'll be able to do here is right click on the sale here, select the prepare HCFA option, where again, you will be able to select the insurer or third party payer that is on there. And then again, along with that, the line items here. You will see here that again, you can select modifiers here as you were able to configure within the setup menu here, as well as a diagnosis pointer here. Now, in order to have that diagnosis pointer go away here, we do need to make sure that we have an ICD code. So let's go ahead and select it, and let's just select a couple random ICD codes here, and we will go ahead and hit OK here. Now that we have the ICD codes here, you will be able to see those specific ones populating here, but we still need to enter in the diagnosis pointer here. The diagnosis pointer are going to be linked to the A and the B here that are populating on there. So in order to fill in something here, we will need to enter either A or B here as well. If we were to try to enter anything else here, you will note that it won't allow you to, because again, it is specifically looking for A or B here. So we'll select A and B, hit enter on the keyboard, and we will now be able to generate that HCFA form here. Now this will populate here. You will notice that it will fill in with all of the patient information at the top here, all of the line items, ICD codes, and everything else here. And again, along with that here, you will be able to see all of the information here. And again, as I mentioned in the setup menu here, any sort of ICD field, or I'm sorry, HCFA fields that you had enabled here or configured will automatically populate within this area here. And again, it should be worth noting that if you do have that clearinghouse integration, you should have the option to submit electronically down from here, which will send that HCFA form from Blueprint directly to the clearinghouse of your choice that you are integrated with there. Once that is sent there, you will be able to log into the portal there to be able to view the status of everything there as well. Now, let's head back to the patient file here, and let's go ahead and receive a payment here, and also do a write-off for the insurer here. Now, let's go ahead and say here that Blue Cross Blue Shield has decided they're going to pay $100 of the invoice here, and then write off the other 50 here. What we can go ahead and do here is right-click on this, same as you would for a normal patient payment, select Receive Apply Payment here. Because there is nothing allocated to the patient here, you will see it will automatically receive it from the insurer there. Again, we'll go ahead and say that this is going to be $100 receive. We can also put the check number in the memo here. And then again, we will go ahead and say that this was a check here. Once we go ahead and hit save on that here, we will now have that payment entered here. And if we go ahead, hit refresh and hover back over this here, you will see the Blue Cross Blue Shield invoice there now has only an open balance of $50 there. Now, again, let's go ahead and say the insurer is going to write that particular amount off here. We'll go ahead, be able to right click and select the write off option here. Now, what this will allow you to do here is be able to see the items here that you are looking to write off here with the amount. Again, we only have the balance testing option here. We can see the amount paid here, which again, we can enter in $100, which automatically would create that $50 amount there as well, showing that again, there is a write-off credit of $50 being created. When we select create there, we can head back to the patient file, hit refresh here, and we can now see that this has been taken care of here. If we right click on that and select a transaction history here as well, you will be able to see a bit more of a breakdown of all of the information here, where again, you can see the payment there of $100 as well as the write-off there that are attached there. You will be able to view the transaction ID here so that you would be able to better locate it here. As you can see, that information is not stored on the patient side. To view this info here, you're going to come under the accounting drop-down menu here, come under the third-party ledger here. From here, we will be able to select the third-party payer or the insurer here, where again, if we select Blue Cross Blue Shield, we will be able to see a little bit better of a breakdown here, essentially the sales history of that specific insurer here. Now you'll be able to see initially the invoice here, the amount that was allocated to the insurer there, the initial payment, and then the write-off here as well. I know that all three of these are here, as these were all three done on the same day here, but if you are unsure, you will be able to right-click on any of these particular items here, such as the payment, and again, be able to view the transaction history, so that again, you will be able to see exactly what invoice that is attached to here. Now, lastly, the last part I want to point out here is going to be how you can receive a payment in bulk here. As I demonstrated earlier, you can receive a single payment for a specific patient here just by right-clicking and then selecting the Receive Apply Payment, granted if it is granted if there is anything allocated to the third-party total here. However, if you do come under the accounting drop-down menu, we can go into the enter third-party payment here, select the specific third-party payer or insurer here, which will then populate with the full list of all of the open invoices for that specific insurer here. Now, what we can do here is go ahead and enter in a payment amount here, where maybe they're going to be paying $10,000 here. We can then input a memo here as well with maybe it'll be check number there. And then again, you can select the payment method here. Now that we have all of this set up here, you will be able to see the total amount here plus the unapplied balance here. From here, you will be able to select the invoices that you would like to have this applied to, at which point you will see the unapplied balance going down here as well. So again, maybe we want to attach it to these invoices here. And then again, we get down to the point here where we only have $1,503 left here. You can then again add that onto a specific one here, but maybe we only want to add in that specific amount there, which again, you will be able to see is now 0. This again will allow you to input a very specific amount there without automatically allocating that. So again, like I mentioned here, to kind of further explain that, for this top one here, maybe the insurer, rather than paying the full amount, they're just going to be paying $1,500 from that here. That way, again, you'll be able to input the exact amount here and be able to attach the exact amount for that specific invoice there. Once all of that is set up here, what we can do here is then again enter in the final amount here, hit enter, and now we see we have the unapplied balance of $0. Once that is all set here, we can go ahead and hit save here. We'll just need to select the location that the payment is being received at, hit OK on that. Now, all of the invoices that were paid in full on that amount will no longer populate on here as well. And again, if we do go into the third-party ledger here, select Blue Cross Blue Shield again here. And again, if we select the location for Manchester where we received that payment, you will now be able to see that $10,000 payment there. And again, you will be able to right-click on this, select the transaction history, and be able to view all of the invoices with the patients that are selected there. That way, again, you'll be able to see where that payment is attached to and the invoice in particular. Well, that is going to about cover it here for our advanced training here. I just would like to thank you for attending here. And again, if you do have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to give a call to our support line here or submit a support ticket. Again, thank you so much, and you all have a great rest of your day.